A+ Toys, we talked about their Master Order animated Dirtboss character, and we were very excited about that and how it was a pretty good price and everything. More images of this surfaced, and it gave us even more of an idea of what we're dealing with and a little surprise that we were discussing previously. So now we have better photos of its articulation and its ability to pose, and again, considering his stout nature
And
and
its
the
ability
funny.
to do a flying jump kick.
Yeah, it
That's a funny
looks it
pose.
looks really great. It also confirms for us that it does transform and it turns into a great looking forklift and it shows us from all angles how really cool it looks and everything. But the big unexpected thing, which we were just talking about, is it actually is going to be a combiner. It actually does have a Devastator chest and head fragment. So this shows that probably we're going to be having a animated combiner Devastator from the third party crew in the future. And this one is going to be the chest and head area. And I'm pretty freaking stoked about this because there's never really been, a confirmed, once again, idea of how a combined team of this would work. I mean, you could pull out the old Allspark Almanac like I am right now,
Uh-huh.
flipping through it, and it's just there really wasn't anything that solidified any of that. And even the Allspark Almanac, in some areas, is kind of dubious because not all of it, front to back, was written by Derek Wyatt.
Mm.
So who, and I always say is, he's kind of the authority when it comes to this stuff. So it's pretty amazing that this is happening.
Hmm.
This is this makes me wonder now. This is going to be obviously the centerpiece. So we had the mud mouth that was shown to us. That's probably going to be maybe one of the legs, or probably one of the arms, I would imagine. Um, so we're going to probably have mud mouth. Although I don't know, maybe if they want to be G1 accurate, maybe maybe they'll make him, I guess, the leg, because if it's Mixmaster, and Mixmaster was the leg originally, and Scrapper was one of the arms, although we don't have a confirmed Scrapper yet from
Hmm.
these guys.
Yep, yep.
And then that then begs the question, now they got to create two new, never existent animated characters
Or
to
maybe,
finish
or
this.
maybe they might do a combiner, but it's only three of them.
That's a possibility
I was
too.
thinking
It's
about
a
that.
it is a possibility. The only reason why I don't think so much is because of how little Dirt Boss does here.
Mm.
He just really does a chest and a head,
A
unless
bust.
somehow unless somehow they work something out with Mudmouth where he really. I'm imagining for anyone who owns like the original Megazord
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Power Rangers. I'm imagining if they could do something like what the Mastodon did, where he opened up and made both arms.
Yep, yep.
If they could do something like that with, say, Mudmouth, and he makes both of the arms, then you could work something out with Scrapper for the bottom half to make legs. Will it be kind of skinny and unimpressive legs? Probably.
Because what I was thinking was maybe you get the head here and the chest, then you get somebody to be the bottom part and the legs, solely the legs,
Hmm.
and then the last person splits into the two arms.
Yeah. Yeah. There could be a part forming aspect to it. There could be something similar to, like I said, with the Mastodon, where it stays as one piece but just wraps around the back.
Like you get
Although,
two,
yeah,
yeah.
it'll probably be something more along the lines of what you're saying, where it's something that splits apart to make it. But that's assuming.
Or the mastodon thing where it spreads across the back and then comes down as the
It's
arms.
a possibility, but it's something that I want to say more. They want to make the excuse to make other members,
Mm.
although that's then when you're going into territory of non-existent characters.
Yeah. Well,
They're
cause I'm just trying to think about the Derek's aesthetic and how the animated toys came out and how they kind of look. So my brain is like looking at this, and I'm seeing a similar, probably a similar silhouette like what's his name? The bounty hunter.
Oh, you're talking about Lockdown.
Yeah, like Lockdown. So how like how his legs kind of came out and they're kind of
Well,
chunky and big, but still
and
lanky. So that's what I was
and the
kind of
funny
thinking
thing
about it.
is that I mean, when you're working with Derek Wyatt's aesthetic and it comes to making animated versions of Generation 1 characters, there's no written rule.
No.
Because in the case of, like, first of all, Dirtboss, original character more or less, so he's off the list already in terms of the rule. But when you look at Mixmaster, or as he's called in this third party thing, Mudmouth, um, he was done as kind of a Joe Pesci homage.
Hmm.
That was kind of what he was going with the look and everything. But when you look at the original Mixmaster character, the Fluoro Deary design, the original G1 toy, there's nothing that ever suggests or invokes that.
Hmm.
And then when you look at Scrapper and his design, and I mean whatever his third party will be down the line, Scrapper is very invoked by Derek Wyatt's love for the Orbots cartoon,
Right, right, right.
and that very similar aesthetic. There was a character in GoBots that very much encompasses that kind of look. Although a lot of the not GoBots, the Orbots, excuse me, a lot of the Orbots, you could see like Krunk is clearly Bulkhead,
Yeah, yeah.
and Bort. I'm getting a lot of Bort from Scrapper over here.
Ah,
But Bort could be seen in a lot of the animated characters in general. It's just that those animated designs, a lot of them pull from Morbots. And so that being said, what about the original Scrapper or Scavenger or anything like that says anything of those designs? So when they're going to have to go around to making their own versions of them, their own version of hooks, let's say, what will they use as a basis
mm,
to make their own original hooks? Maybe they might even talk to Derek Wyatt. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
hmm.
But it's going to be really interesting to see when they have to then go do those original characters, and what are those going to be, those aesthetic choices.
Yeah.
In the same way, I mean, when Derek did the hot rod thing, there was a lot of aesthetic choices that were chosen from different areas that inspired. There was the Hawkeye thing, which inspired different aesthetic things on Rodimus, aka Hot Rod, in animated. There's the popped collar thing, which came from some douchebag,
Yep.
you
Some
know,
douchebag.
some douchebag. Um, you know, there's the whole aspect of all of that. There's little aesthetic things that were pulled. Every single character in animated has some kind of G1 origin,
Yeah.
but their aesthetic was not pulled completely from their
Yeah,
G1
exactly.
origin.
Maybe like the
There,
color palette was, but not.
yeah, like color palette was usually the basis of it. Like you give me a good example, like you look at Jetstorm and Jetfire, the
Hmm.
combiner. Yeah, like Jetstorm takes the colors from his Beast Machines, you know, interpretation,
Right.
but not as aesthetic.
Hmm.
And Jetfire, it couldn't be any more of a departure from his original G1 character. And then you add to the fact that he has the flaming head that's very similar to Firestorm from DC.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
there's so much and then the fact that they combine very similar to that from Gal Geiger, from Enryu and Goryu.
Hmm.
Like there's just so many different homages and aesthetics that are lumped into all these characters. It's going to be really interesting to see these third party guys go, okay, we're going to do a Derek Wyatt design. How are we going to go about this like how Derek Wyatt would? Because I would see Derek looking at hooks and going like, all right, I did Joe Pesci, who's another, like, angry kind of,
Yeah, yeah.
short guy, because that's what it seems like thus far. 'Cause even Dirtboss is like an angry short guy. How do we do another angry short guy character? Who am I going to pull from? Do I want to do an Orbots thing? Do I want to do a GoBots thing?
Right.
Do I want to pull something from Gurren Lagann? Do I want to pull something from Gal Geiger?
Hmm.
Maybe there's some other, Japanese robot show that I really enjoyed, in the back of his mind that he wants to throw an homage to. There's so much stuff out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, who knows? He used so many aspects of his life and and things that he enjoyed in the reality of this stuff, that it's going to be really interesting to see someone else take the reins of that on an unofficial capacity and be clever with it.